Hello to all of my business owners that rocks. I am Lakeisha Singletary and I'm your host for Big Internet Marketing Ideas for Small Budgets. This is our second episode and I would like to genuinely say thank you all who has shown your support. In our first episode, I got a lot of response, people emailing, inboxing on Facebook, even on Twitter. So again, I thank you all and make sure you continue to share the love to everyone that you know. Today, our topic is when hashtags go wrong. Dun, dun, dun. But before I jump into that, I kind of want to give you guys some background information as well as some tips and ideas on how you can use hashtags in a powerful way for your business. First of all, when you think of hashtags, think of it as a way to organize your content, track discussions, and a way that you're giving yourself a voice as an expert in your field, of course. Now, the rule of thumb, though, you're not supposed to post more than anywhere from 1 to 3 is what you're supposed to post. Anything more than that, we call that overboard, overkill. Why? So if you're just doing it for fun, then the 10 hashtags that I see here and there is fine. But if it's for your business, again, 1 to 3 is the rule of thumb when you're posting hashtags on Twitter or Facebook, etc. Now, the way platforms utilize hashtag, they all use them in a different way. One example I'll give you is I have a client, she got a habit, and that's the name of her business. She sells jewelry. And she basically went to this huge event out in DC. It is called For Sisters Only. So my instructions to her was make sure whenever you're doing your hashtags, whatever For Sister Only is trending as a hashtag, that's what you should also be hashtagging when you're tweeting out things. So of course, For Sister Only, their hashtag included hashtag For Sisters Only or hashtag FSO. That way, every time she sent out a tweet, she would use her own personal hashtag as well as the event hashtag. Why? Well, if she clicks on For Sisters Only, everyone that's talking about that event, it will come up. And if you have people talking about the event, of course, you want to be into that as well because then you have a connection with those people. I would assume if you're speaking at an event or if you're attending an event, then you have some type of connection already with that topic. So now you have a connection with people that you didn't even know. But now they know you, and in turn they may begin to follow you. Then you'll have some engagement from them because they're also at the same event or location that you are. So that's the first thing. Now, utilizing them on platforms, it's a little different for each platform. Not a huge difference, but I would say the biggest difference would be with Twitter, since they were, the platform that gave birth to hashtags. Of course, they have like different variations, ways that you can utilize them, and one is trending. So on Twitter, you will see over to the left items that are trending. Right now, I think it's the World Cup. I don't know if that's still trending, but I know last week, I want to say I still saw it there. World Cup was still trending, so I saw hashtag World Cup. Now, one thing to note, do not use dashes, no commas. Don't use any type of punctuations in your hashtag because that will break up that sentence or that particular hashtag. So you'll just have hashtag, which some of you know as the number sign, but it'll be hashtag the World Cup. Everything is together, no spaces either. Just remember that. And as I was saying with Twitter, they have ways that you can actually do filtering. So if I do hashtag the World Cup, for example, I can choose if I just want the top things about the World Cup that's coming up, the most popular tweets, or I can choose if I want to only see the people that I'm actually following. If I only want to see what they're tweeting about the World Cup, I can filter it for that as well. So, that's kind of cool, right? Or you can also see everything about the World Cup. So that's 3 different ways that you can utilize your hashtags when you're using Twitter and you're trying to filter things. Now, Facebook, I think they started the hashtag around June 2013 of last year, so it's still fairly new, but it hasn't really created a kick that buzz the way Twitter has. But, it's pretty much the same thing. You're just not able to filter things the way you do in Twitter. So if you use a hashtag in Facebook and you click on it, it'll bring up the list of everyone who's discussing that hashtag. But the thing is, it does not limit it to just people. Also places, I mean, anything that you can think of is going to come up in that search. So that kind of bums a little sometimes if you only want to see the people that are talking about the hashtag. The next thing is Instagram. Instagram actually is pretty cool when it comes to hashtag. They actually started hashtag Throwback Thursdays, and they've had a huge success. People are using it on Facebook, they're using it on Twitter, Instagram, even Pinterest. I've seen it on there, and they just started as a way to have a photo to show, for you to go back and show some type of retro photo, which a lot of you guys do, and so is myself, and just kind of share it with everyone. And so they really did a great job with that. Now, who knows? Do it for the Vine. I ain't gonna do it. Do it for the Vine. I ain't gonna do it. We all know about the Vine. Now, Vine is actually, they utilize theirs very, very similar to Instagram. So the next time that you do a Vine video, make sure you add a hashtag, because that will increase the shareability of that video and get more people to watch it. And that's what you want. Now, the next one I want to discuss is Google+. Of course, Google Plus is the king of the internet because it's made by no other than Google. Google Plus kind of takes it a little step further. They do everything that Twitter and Facebook does, but they also bring up Google results over to your left. And then it brings up Google Plus results over to your right. So you have google.com to your left, Google Plus results over to your right. And it's all surrounded by whatever hashtag that you're using. And they've also incorporated where you can search for a hashtag within Facebook and Twitter. So everybody know Google does not want you to leave their site. So they're like, look, we're going to incorporate Twitter and Facebook. That way you can just stay right here on Google Plus and do all your hashtag needs. So again, utilizing hashtags on the platforms can really be powerful for your business. And some little cute humor ones are, some people say, let's get it on. It is the weekend. Hashtag TGIF. And we all know that means, thank goodness, it's Friday. So you have all type of little hashtags that you can actually use in your business to bring in the humor, to bring in the fun, to connect with your viewers, your users. And it will call, engagement. Ask them what they're doing for the weekend. Hashtag TGIF. Another famous hashtag on Twitter actually is hashtag FF, which means Follow Friday. That started some years ago and is still going on strong, and it really works. So if you're on Twitter, make sure you do hashtag FF or hashtag Follow Friday, and you can tell what people that they should follow. Don't forget to include yourself in that. So those are the ways you kind of use the hashtags on those platforms. Now, some bad hashtags or some hashtags have gone wrong. Oh my goodness. I don't know if those of you saw this, but McDonald's did this huge campaign that was called hashtag MacD Stories. So if you go to Twitter right now and type in hashtag MacMCD Stories, watch what comes up. What's supposed to, or what should have come up with great stories and warm and fuzzy stories about great experiences they've had at McDonald's, or, all that sort of stuff. Well, it took an opposite turn into horror stories. People like talking about things like diarrhea. Sorry guys, hope you're not eating, but they're just talking about things, bad experiences that they had at McDonald's, and it's still going on, sadly. And they launched that campaign a while ago. So if you go and search on that in Twitter, see what results you get. Some of them are actually funny. Another one is Susan Boyle. I'm not sure if a lot of you are familiar with her. That's Boyle, Boyle. But she was on that show, Britain Got Talent. So she had an album coming out, and they decided to use hashtag Susan Album Party. I'm sorry, Susan Album Party. And it turned into something that is just not great. A lot of people start seeing it as SUS, Anal Bum Party. So instead of them seeing it as Susan Album with the A capitalized, Party capitalized, the P, they saw it as SUS with the S capitalized, then anal with the A capitalized, then bum with B, then party, Susan Anal Bum Party. So of course they had to pull that down, but it's still out there. And that's the thing. So be careful when you are creating hashtags, because it can kind of backfire on you sometimes. So I always tell businesses to make sure whenever they are using hashtags, to make sure that it is relevant with their content, because you don't want to talk about cheap flights whenever you're really talking about, I don't know, maybe a dog or a cat, fashion. Now, sometimes you actually can add it in there, but it's all about how creative you are with your tweets or with your postings. That will allow you to allow those type of trending hashtags. So don't just throw it in there because it's trending, but make sure it actually makes sense. Another thing, I want you to create your very own unique hashtag for your business. A lot of people do it all the time. You know, you have Tamartians, that's Tamar Braxton. She has her Tamartians. You know, Lady Gaga has her hashtags for her followers. And it does not have to only be for your followers. I know Mashable.com, they have Mash Reads, hashtag Mash Reads. So those are for, you know, a lot of people use Mash, when they read their blogs and everything, they'll do hashtag Mash Reads, you know, says blah, 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 or they blogged about this, or they blogged about that. That way they're able to keep track and see who's out there discussing our company, which is kind of cool, right? So again, make sure it's relevant, make sure it's trending, but make sure it makes sense to your brand, to your voice, to your tone that you're giving out on the internet, and make sure you create your very own hashtag. So till next time, keep your hashtags simple and just keep it real, and people will be able to read into that. And I want to know what hashtags you're going to use for your business. Feel free to post on Facebook.com/tellyourbusiness, Twitter.com/tellyourbiz, or either right down below. And once again, I'll make sure to type this up down below, and we also have a blog from our last week's video, or either you can just go check it out on YouTube here on our channel, youtube.com/tellyourbiz. Again, I'm your girl, Lakeisha Singletary, with Big Internet Marketing Ideas for Small Budgets, and I am signing off next Thursday, 2 o'clock Eastern Time, same place, same time. I will see you next week. Bye-bye.